Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadi alladhina istafa amma ba'd. قال تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي قد من الله علينا إنه من يتقي ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected brothers, elders, sisters, and anybody that's listening, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yesterday we were talking about the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was the son of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, they were settled in Palestine. They were living in Palestine. And Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, son Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, had a dream. In that dream, he seen that 11 stars, the sun and the moon, are bowing down to him. And the father warned that don't tell this dream to your brothers because they'll become jealous of you. But he accidentally slipped this dream to them, and they found out and they plotted against him and they threw him into a well. And from the well, he was sold in the markets of Egypt. And then he was put into prison for a crime that he did not commit. So Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, he spent 7 years in prison. An innocent man who did nothing wrong but was falsely accused, and he was in jail for 7 years. After spending 7 years in prison, the king of Egypt had a dream. He had a dream that 7 fat cows were being eaten by 7 lean ones, and 7 ears of grain which are green, and 7 others which are dry. So he asked his people, what does this dream mean? So they said, oh, ignore it, this is nothing, this is just a mishmash of dream, there's no interpretation to this dream, don't worry about it, it doesn't mean anything. Then the cupbearer, if you remember from yesterday's story, who was in prison, the cupbearer who was in prison, he remembered Yusuf alayhi salam, and Yusuf had the gift of interpreting dreams, and this was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said to the king, I know a person who can interpret this dream. His name is Yusuf. He is locked up in the prisons. So this cupbearer approached Yusuf alayhi salam and informed him the king had this dream. So Yusuf interpreted this dream as that there will be 7 good years followed by 7 years of famine. So what should happen is you should make preparations for the 7 years of famine. So the cupbearer came back to the king and he informed the king, this is the meaning of your dream, that we will have 7 good years followed by 7 years of famine. So the king was really impressed by Yusuf alayhi salam and his interpretation of this dream. So he asked for Yusuf to be released. But Yusuf alayhi salam, before being released, he wanted his name to be clear from the women of Egypt and from Zuleika, that they should announce to the people that I did nothing wrong. And also the Aziz, the minister who purchased Yusuf, should also know that Yusuf was free from any kind of sin, any kind of accusation. So Zuleika, she announced that Yusuf alayhi salam, he is free, he did nothing wrong. It was me that tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam. And so Yusuf salam name was cleared in front of the public, in front of everybody. And that gave more honor to Yusuf alayhi salam. And the king was really impressed by Yusuf alayhi salam. And so the king decided to appoint Yusuf alayhi salam as the treasurer of Egypt. Now just imagine where we started the story off yesterday. A young boy who had a dream, and because of jealousy and hatred, his brothers plotted against him. At one point, they wanted to kill him. So instead, they threw him into the well. From the bottom of the well to the leader of Egypt, this honor came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Yusuf al-Islam had to go through many trials and tribulations on the way. He was bought by the Aziz, the minister of Egypt. He was accused for something that he didn't do. He was put into prison. He served time in prison as an innocent man. And on this day, his name has been cleared. And the king was impressed by Yusuf alayhi salam and appointed him as the treasurer of Egypt. And Yusuf alayhi salam was very clever. He made preparations for the years of famine. The crops that they got ready, he stored them all away. So when the 7 years of hardship comes, we will have enough crops to survive on and to help other people. This is what you call economics. Knowing how to run a country. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this knowledge and wisdom to Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. So when the 7 years of hardship did come, and the people of Egypt and people in the surrounding areas of Palestine started to suffer, the people of Egypt, Yusuf alayhi salam, had enough crops stored away. So when people did come, he was able to give them. So what happened was, as the famine struck, the people of Palestine, they heard there's a treasurer in Egypt who is very kind and who is giving out crops and grains to people. So Yaqub alayhi salam ordered his sons to go to Egypt and to go and bring some crops and some grains back. So the 10 brothers, they went to Egypt and they came in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam, he recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Now just imagine how many years had passed. In some narrations say that he was at the age of 7 when he was thrown into the well, and at the age of 40, this was the first time they had seen each other again. But they didn't recognize Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, but Yusuf recognized his 10 brothers. So all those years had passed, and Yusuf al-Islam is now the treasurer of Egypt. So when they came, they gave some amount for a load. So what would happen was, every citizen, they would purchase the grains and they would receive a whole camel load of grains for a certain amount of price. So the brothers, they gave some money and they had their camel loaded, and they said, we have one more brother, Binyamin, but he's back in Palestine with his father. Can we take his share? So Yusuf, he replied, no, you can't take his share, but because you made this claim, you got to make sure next time you come, you bring your brother. Otherwise, you made a false claim and you will not receive any grain. So the brothers, they returned back to Palestine with 10 camel loads full of grain. But they said to their father that what happened was, we didn't get Binyamin's share because he wasn't with us, he wasn't present. And next time we have to go, we have to take Binyamin with us, otherwise we will not receive any goods. And to Yusuf Islam, we made a false claim. So when the brothers, they seen that, mashallah, they've got these 10 camel loaded full of grain. They also seen whatever they paid, all that money has been returned back to them. In their bags, they seen all the money that they paid for the grains had been returned back to them. And they said to their father, look, what a great gesture this minister has made to us. So we got to make sure next time we go, we take Binyamin with us. So Yaqub alayhi salam, he's already lost Yusuf alayhi salam, and he's worried that now if Binyamin goes with them, would they be able to take care of Binyamin? So they made a promise to their father, look, we will take good care of him, we will return him back, and we will take good care of him. So Yaqub alayhi salam, when their crops had finished, when their grains had finished, he sent the brothers, now 10 plus 1. Binyamin went with them. But Yaqub alayhi salam said to him, O my son, do not enter the city from one door, go in through different gates. Because there were 11 handsome brothers, and he didn't want Nazar, the evil eye, to affect them. So he says, when you enter the city, don't enter through one door, go through different doors. So this is what they did. Now the 11 brothers, they came back to Yusuf alayhi salam for some more grain. And this time Yusuf alayhi salam seen his real brother Binyamin. And when he got the opportunity to be alone with Binyamin, he declared, "Oh Binyamin, look at me, I'm your brother, Yusuf." Binyamin was shocked to see his real brother. But he warned him, don't tell your brothers. I'm going to devise a plan, but don't let your brothers know. So what was that plan? The golden cup, measuring cup of the king, which they used for measuring the grains, Yusuf alayhi salam placed that cup in Binyamin's bag. So it looked like as if Binyamin had stolen this golden cup of the king. So as the brothers were about to leave, one of the workers announced, these are thieves. They've stolen the golden cup of the measuring cup of the king. So all the brothers, they said, we haven't done anything. We're innocent people. We've just come for some grains. We haven't done anything wrong. You can search our bags. So as they were searching the bags, all the bags were empty. But in the bag of Binyamin, they found the golden cup. And the brothers were shocked. And now that meant that Binyamin had to be imprisoned. He had to stay behind. And the brothers, they were worried now because they made a promise with their father that they would take good care of Binyamin. But Binyamin has been accused of stealing, and because of that, he has to pay the price and he has to be imprisoned. So the older of the brother, he said to the others, you go back to your father and you mention to him what Binyamin has done, and I'll stay back with Binyamin. So the brothers, they returned back to Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, their father, and they said to Yaqub alayhi salam, their father, that this what happened, that Binyamin stole. And this caused great grief and anguish to Yaqub alayhi salam. He had already lost Yusuf alayhi salam, now he's lost Binyamin and also the older brother. So 3 brothers are away from him. 3 of his sons are away from him. And that caused great grief to Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. And he was crying out of grief. And at the same time, as he was crying out of grief, he was remembering Yusuf alayhi salam. And this caused anger to the brothers, that you don't stop remembering Yusuf alayhi salam, you're going to end up collapsing or end up perishing and dying because of the remembrance of Yusuf alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam stayed quiet. And he replied, I do not complain of my anguish and sorrow to anyone but Allah, and I know from Allah what you do not know. So then he said to his sons, Go back to go back to Egypt and go and search for Yusuf and his brother Binyamin. So now the brothers were going to make a third trip to Egypt, but this time they were in the state of poverty. They had very little money to give in exchange of the grains. And their father was so upset and cried so much that he lost his sight. Now they've come to Yusuf alayhi salam and begging Yusuf alayhi salam that please have favor upon us. Our father is suffering so much. It's caused him blindness, and we have very little money to give you in exchange of the grains. Please have pity on us. Please be kind to us. So here Yusuf alayhi salam says, Hal alimtum ma fa'altum bi Yusuf? Do you know what you did to Yusuf? And the brothers were shocked. How does this treasurer of Egypt know of our brother Yusuf alayhi salam and what evil plot we did against Yusuf alayhi salam? How does he know? So they all said, قَالُوا أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ Yusuf? Is that you? Are you Yusuf? قَالَ أَنَا Yusuf وَهَذَا أَخِي. Yes, I am Yusuf, and this is my brother Binyamin. قد من الله علينا إنه من يتقي ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. Allah has been very kind to us. Surely whoever fears Allah and observes patience, Allah does not let the reward of such good people go to waste. The brothers were shocked. After years, and they know what they did to their brother. But look at Yusuf alayhi salam and his status today, that they are in need of Yusuf alayhi salam. They are in need of his kindness. And Yusuf salam has revealed himself to his brothers, I am that Yusuf. So remember, those people that fear Allah and are patient, Allah Ta'ala always rewards them with good. Allah will never waste away whatever good they've done. Straight away they ask for forgiveness. We are the guilty one. Please forgive us, our brother. We did wrong to you. La tathriba alaykum al-yawm. Go. I swear by Allah, there's no revenge today. I've forgiven you. Go. Go back to your father. Give him this shirt of mine, and Allah will return his sight to him. So as the brothers return, happy that they have found Yusuf alayhi salam, Binyamin is safe. Now they come into their father with a shirt. This time with the shirt of Yusuf alayhi salam. And as they're returning back to Palestine, from a far distance, Yaqub alayhi salam can smell the fragrance of Yusuf alayhi salam. And he's saying, I can smell the fragrance of Yusuf alayhi salam. And the people around him keep on saying, you're a silly man. You don't forget Yusuf. So when the brothers came to Yaqub alayhi salam, they gave the good news that we found Yusuf. And this is his shirt. Put on the shirt and Allah will return back your sight. So everybody was amazed. And Yaqub alayhi salam said, did I not tell you that I know from Allah what you do not know? Now, the whole family, they plan to migrate from Palestine to Egypt. So they all came to Yusuf alayhi salam. And as they entered, Yusuf alayhi salam, he raised his parents onto the throne. And everybody fell in prostration. The brothers, the mother, the father, in respect and honor of Yusuf alayhi salam. And Yusuf alayhi salam was shocked and surprised. And he said, وَقَالَ يَا أَبَتِ هَذَا تَعْوِيلُ رُؤْيَايَ مِنْ قَبْلِ قَدْ جَعَلَهَا رَبِّي حَقًّا. My father, here is the fulfillment of my early dream. My Lord has made it come true. Now Yusuf alayhi salam understood the dream that he had when he was a child. That 11 stars, the sun and the moon are bowing down to him. So many decades later, he's witnessing that his 11 brothers, his mother and father, out of respect and honor, are today bowing down to him. Allah made this dream come true. Subhanallah, what a beautiful story of Yusuf alayhi salam. What lessons we learn from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. How Allah tested Yusuf alayhi salam, but he had the fear of Allah. He was patient, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him get through every trial and tribulation. And at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated his status. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored Yusuf alayhi salam, and everybody around him acknowledged the status, the prophethood of Yusuf alayhi salam. His own family members, the people of Egypt, everybody around him, they accepted and they really respected and honored Yusuf alayhi salam. This was the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Like I said to you, we learn many lessons that are applicable in our life. The story of betrayal, of jealousy, of hatred amongst own brothers and family members. But sometimes when we are tested and when we are going through this difficult time, we've got to be patient. We shouldn't lash out. We shouldn't get angry. We shouldn't harm anybody. At the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are with those people that are patient, those people that turn towards Him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never wastes anybody's good deeds. That person will see his good deeds. Allah ta'ala showed Yusuf alayhi salam all the goodness that he did, all the patience he went through. At the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him. Allah ta'ala rewarded him in this world, and Allah will reward him in the next world as well. And that's a great lesson to us, that let us be patient, let us turn towards Allah ta'ala, let us be grateful of all of Allah's blessings, and inshallah Allah will reward us both in this world and in the next world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the ability and the tawfiq to act upon what is being said. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.